Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1. In the first scene of the play, we are introduced to two Roman officials, Flavius and Marullus, and some commoners. So, Flavius says to the commoners that what were they doing out on the streets on a working day. They were lazy men and they were supposed to be working instead of walking about and talking on the streets. And then he asked the two men what their profession was, to which the first citizen told him that he was a carpenter and the second one told him that he was a cobbler. To which Marullus asks the first citizen that where was his leather apron and his ruler. These were the marks of his trade, the mark of the carpenter. And then he asks him in fact, that why was he wearing his best clothes and not his work clothes. Now to that the cobbler tells him that he was a mender of bad soles. What does bad soles mean here? The soles of your shoes, the lowermost part of your shoes which are in contact with the ground, is called the soles. Now here the cobbler has a double meaning. He means to use the word soles, soles, and also he has a double meaning that he was a mender of bad soles, souls, right? The cobbler's reply makes Marullus a little bit annoyed because he gets the feeling that the cobbler was trying to have some fun with him, and Marullus as well as Flavius considered these common men to be beneath them, right? So he says that he was a naughty knave, that he was a rascal. And which trade did he work in? So the cobbler says that do not get angry with me, but I can mend you. Now this further annoys Marullus, and he says that what do you mean by that? How can you mend me as if I am wrong or I am bad? So again, the cobbler keeps up his banter and he says that, why sir, cobble you? Cobble you means to mend something. So mend you. Now again here cobble he is using twice as a way to mend shoes and a way to mend people. Then Flavius understands that the second citizen was a cobbler. Okay, and then he says, that is the cobbler says that he made his living by using an awl, and he simply did his work and he didn't meddle in any other people's matters, and he simply does his work without being lazy or without being a rascal. To which Flavius replies that why wasn't he in his shop that day, and why was the cobbler leading all these men throughout the streets? So what excuse does the cobbler give? He says that he does that to make their shoes worn out so that he could get more work for himself. But then he adds that he wanted to take the day off so that he could see Caesar and celebrate his triumph. To this, what does Marullus reply? He says that why would you celebrate the victory of Caesar? What victory does he bring home? What foreign lands has he conquered and captive foreigners chained to his chariot wheels? You people are blockheads, that is, you are thick-headed, you are unfeeling men, you have hard hearts, you are the cruel men of Rome. Didn't you know Pompey previously? Many a times you people climbed up on walls and battlements, towers and windows, even on top of chimney tops, with your babies in your arms, and sat there patiently all day long waiting to see great Pompey ride through the streets of Rome. And when you caught a glimpse of his chariot, didn't you people shout so loudly that even the river Tiber shook as it echoed? And the same people now put on your best clothes and take a holiday just because Caesar has won, and that too against Pompey. And you people toss flowers in the path of Caesar, who comes in triumph over Pompey's defeated sons. You should go home and run to your houses, fall on your knees, and pray to the gods to spare you the pain that you deserve for such ingratitude and fickleness. Now, to this, what does Flavius say? He says to the commoners, he tells them that you should go home and make up for having done wrong, and gather up all the poor men like yourselves, lead them to the Tiber, and cry into the river until it overflows its bank. After this, the carpenter, cobbler, and the rest of the commoners leave the stage, and Flavius continues to his companion. And who was his companion? Marullus. He says that, well, that ought to move even the most thick-headed of them. There they go, feeling so guilty they are now tongue-tied. They don't have a thing to say for themselves. You go down towards the Capitol, and I'll go this way. Undress the statues if they are decorated in honor of Caesar. That is, to strip all the decorations that the commoners have put up to celebrate the victory of Caesar. So Marullus says that, can we do this? Are we able to do this? Because at the same time it is the feast of Lupercal. Now what does Flavius say? He says that it really doesn't matter. We must make sure that none of the statues are decorated in tribute to Caesar, and he says that he'll walk around the streets and he'll force the commoners off the streets and into their homes, and he tells his companion to do the same wherever they have gathered up, okay, to celebrate. And why does he do that? He says that if they take away Caesar's support, then he will have to come down to his previous status. Otherwise he would become greater than us, and he will be ruling all over us, and he will keep the rest of us in a state of fear and obedience, which of course, as we can see, that the officials of Rome at that time did not want, according to what we have seen of Marullus and Flavius. And at this point in the scene is over, and Marullus and Flavius also leave the stage. Now in this play, Shakespeare has used puns. Puns are figure of speech or literary devices which are based on interplay of homophones, words with the same pronunciation but different meanings. And it can also play with words that sound similar but not exactly the same. We can see that the cobbler was using puns to irritate Marullus and Flavius, and puns are usually used for humor, and it also makes writing interesting. So authors use puns to make their writing humorous and interesting for the readers.